Kundalini Hour with Alan Steinfeld, myself, Shanti, and today we have very special guest, CJ Liu. Excited. CJ's usually doing the interviewing. I've seen lots and lots of her wonderful interviews, so it's fun to have her as an actual guest today. So let me read CJ's bio. CJ Liu is a radio talk show host and producer of the Fire It Up with CJ show on iHeart and YouTube, where she has interviewed guests such as Deepak Chopra, Byron Katie, and Dr. Christiane Northrup. She is a weekly guest on Inspire Nation, which is ranked 3 in self-help shows on iTunes. She has a TEDx talk called Better Beliefs, which tells her own personal story of transformation. And she is an executive and transition coach and mom to 2 teenage boys. Yay! I have a teenage boy too. Welcome, CJ. So nice to have you.
It's great being here. I'm excited, actually.
Oh, good. I've been excited all day too. I had that little kind of Shakti. I get that little Shakti excitement thing that happens. I don't know if you get that, but
I do.
I was just going to say, we've been doing this for maybe 2 months, this overview of different Kundalini type experiences. And it's amazing how everyone has their own story, their own version of it. So that's sort of the theme we've been laying out, like that personal experience. Because I think the more we put it out there, the more people say, oh yeah, that's going on. And it won't be so weird for people or whatever it is.
Yes, we're trying to normalize, not normalize it, but make it okay because I don't know if you've noticed this, you probably have. A lot of people are having spontaneous awakenings, is what we've noticed.
Mm.
And many are not sure how to deal with it really, or what it is, or okay, so now my Kundalini's awake, what do I do?
Yeah.
So our idea of bringing people on with all these different experiences, just trying to help people navigate that process.
So do you want to talk about like what happened to you? Like, how did you know what was going on?
Yeah, I can tell you, it kind of depends on how you're defining awakening experiences, of which I've had. I now can look back and know that I've had many. So it first started off, I was taking a life coaching class, and you're supposed to read your mission and your vision. And mine was something along the lines of, I'm a leader of love, channeling the energy of Pele. I can't even remember. I speak my truth, something like that. And when I said it, my body just started shaking and I started convulsing and I just started crying.
Wow.
And I had no idea what was happening. And the people in the coaching program, I think, had witnessed these other kind of moments of speaking a truth. And they were all kind of like nodding their head. And I as like just had left Microsoft, was thinking, I've completely lost it in front of everyone. I can't believe this. I'm so embarrassed. But they're all like looking at me very pleased. So I think that was maybe something that I now in retrospect can look at and go, that was some type of an awakening moment where something enlivened in me, and I kind of knew it. And
what was you said channeling what as part of your statement?
I didn't say channeling, but that's funny that you should say that, because that's one of the things that I've been pulled towards. So I think you probably heard it intuitively.
Okay.
I was saying I am the leader of love, and
Okay.
yeah, so it was, and something I can't remember what it was, but as a leader of love was the key thing.
Did your life change? What changed at that moment for you? I'm just curious.
I think I finally spoke my soul's truth.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think before that, I was like living a corporate existence and kind of like a hardcore, hard driving kind of business person, and a lot of shielding. And when my dad died, I realized like I could stay in this position forever. And if I don't leave, I will stay here forever, because it hits all of my, I guess, all of my cravings. It's like I'm around smart people. It's very exciting. I get paid well. I'm respected. So all those egoic cravings were being like, check, 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 check. And I thought, if I don't leave here, I'm going to stay here forever. And I got led to this coaching class in which I think that was part of my, I do believe it's part of my purpose, which is to guide and to heal and to help. And so I think when I finally spoke what was true to my heart, finally, I think it just kind of unleashed something. So I think that was probably my first taste of it, where I didn't know what was going on, but there was something outside of what I knew was normal. And then I was in a Joe Dispenza workshop. And in that workshop, and I don't know if I told this during my interview with Nathaji, Swami Khecaranatha.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, I was in the Joe Dispenza workshop, and Joe Dispenza is fantastic. He has like 500 people in one room doing a meditation. And, you know, the person next to me is probably like as close, you know, it's definitely not 6 feet. It's probably like a foot away from you. So you have people maybe 1.5 feet or 2 feet away from you in like, you know, front, back, side. So it's like you're crammed in there doing these meditations. And at one point, my arm just started going like this. I was like, what is happening? And I was trying to like put it down because I didn't know what it was doing. And then I started like breathing like that. And I thought, what is happening to me? And then I was trying to, because, you know, people were like having these joyous, beautiful kind of meditative oming kind of experience. And I'm like, you know, like, it's just not
I remember you saying that to the Swami, and I thought, oh, that's what I really want to talk to her, because I remember you saying you get these intense kriyas.
Yeah, and it was just not resonant at all with the total vibe there. So I was trying to stifle it down. And then at one point, some guy turned to me and he said, do you know that perhaps what you're doing is feeling a Kundalini arising? I'm like, what is that? And he said, well, he's like, it's this energy that's arising. And when you try to tamp it down, it's actually making it worse. So if you were to just let it go, it would be better. So on the last day, Joe Dispenza of this retreat has your pineal gland, which is the kind of lightning, like the recipient of the spiritual energy, is triggered at 3 a.m. So at 3 a.m, I went to this workshop and I turned towards the people to my right and left. And I said, I'm just going to let rip whatever is happening. So please be like forewarned. So
that's awesome. Which day of the retreat was that?
This was the last day of the retreat. And then I thought, okay, all right, surrender. I'm just going to surrender. And then nothing was happening. I'm like, okay, I'm surrendering into nothing happening. And then all of a sudden, it was funny too, because I was hooked onto a heart math, because he does all these measurements and stuff. So I had a heart math monitor on me at the time. And all of a sudden, like my arms just started flailing in the ground. It was like,
what year was that?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. It's probably like 7 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, 2013. So I think around there. I don't really know exactly the date. And so, yeah, and then my arm, and it was like that from 3 until I want to say 8. I was just flopping around. I was making mudras, like my fingers were making all these movements, and I'm like, I don't know what this is, and I'm not going to think about it, nor am I going to worry about it. I'm just going to let it fly.
I love
that was probably my first awakening.
Well, I love this, CJ, because I didn't know that, and I have also been to his retreats well after my Kundalini was awakened. And I was like, why am I so attracted to this person? He's very scientific. And then while I'm at the retreat, he talks about, I'm seeing people having Kundalini awakenings, and he's talking about his Kundalini awakening. So
I don't know whether at that time he had that, because it was, I had heard subsequent to that, there were all these people popping off at these workshops, but I feel like I may have been the only one
at that time.
At that time. It was very off-putting.
Did that stay with you then? Did you integrate the energy? I mean, what was like happening?
So what I did is I thought, oh, what is this? And so of course I went to get a book, And there was Bonnie Greenwell's book, and I read through all these stories of people and their Kundalini awakenings, and I thought, this does not resonate with me, and actually it sort of feels scary and delusional, and I don't want anything to do with it. So I'm just going to shut it off. That's basically what I decided.
After reading the book, you felt like that?
Yeah, for me,
Oh,
okay. It was not something that I felt really pulled towards. And frankly, I just skimmed the book. So I can't really, I skimmed it enough to think I don't want to read this book anymore.
okay.
Yeah. So then I had another situation that I had kind of concluded, like, all right, I'm just putting this to rest and not thinking about it. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to go to another Joe Dispenza event, and like, same thing happened. And I was like, I just am not going to think about this too much, because overthinking and overreading is probably going to make me crazy. So I just will, it's energy, don't make any meaning out of it, just let it go. So that's what I did. And then I don't know if you heard, I don't remember what I said in Nathaji saying then my husband and I, it was our anniversary, and pot is legal in Seattle, Washington, where we are. So we decided to smoke pot. Then we made love, and then it was like my whole body was like shaking for I don't even know how long, like probably an hour. I was just convulsing, and like there was like, it just felt like there was like an energetic current just pulsing through my body. And Joe Dispenza, I don't know if you heard this guy, he has like, he said there was like, it's an orgasm in your brain. It was like that. It was just like lights, a light show in my brain. I looked at my husband and he was all light. And then I started channeling, I don't know, making weird noises. I was like hissing. It was just super weird.
Oh, I love it. Was it like a Kali? You know about Kali? Was it like a Kali manifestation? Yes. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. And I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then I mean, it was like that from like 3 till about 8 at night. I was just like in this altered state. And then I came home, and I lost all sensation of my skin. So when I touched my skin, it was numb. And then when I ate, I couldn't taste anything for about a month.
Wow.
Like, burnt out. And I think that's why some spiritual gurus are really cautionary about smoking pot, because then the plant is taking over and you don't have control over how much opening is happening. So I just like, ripped myself open.
So you think the pot made it more intense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I hadn't had anything like that. I mean, I would look up at the sky and start crying. It just stuff.
So the pot opened you. The pot opened you, but don't you think you may have been open without the pot, or that intensified it? Or
I think yes. I think I was
with the making love.
Yes, it was like all three: making love, unifying, smoking pot, already open. It's just like, pow.
Wow. Did he feel the energy? Yeah. Did your husband feel it?
I don't know. He just saw me and it was like just holding space, because my husband's so lovely. He was just holding space, and he knew that it was energy, because he had seen me go through all these energetic experiences before, that it wasn't weird for him. It was also normal, but it was just, and then I was doing things like I could see the purpose of his life. Like I could just see things really clearly. I don't really know how. Does this resonate with what you guys have heard? What have you?
Oh my gosh. It's funny.
I've had some amazing experiences like that. Mine haven't been that drastic, but yes, absolutely. That happens.
Sorry, Alan. I knew there was a reason that I was attracted to you, and I can tell it's the same kind of energy.
Yeah, the same kind of energy that you did. Did you also have what was your experience like?
Well, I had an awakening by Shaktipat Guru, and when I was 27, I'm 52 now. Oh, but wow. It was very intense. Kriyas, the Kali manifesting, all of that. So
I hadn't even thought about it as Kali manifesting until you just mentioned it, but it was just kind of like, I'm like, where's this noise coming from? Does that seem like Kali to you? I don't
Did
know.
your tongue come out at all? Because when the Kali manifests, the tongue often sticks out too.
I honestly don't remember.
Mm.
It was so long ago. If I were paying attention at all, I think I would have known. But when I was in India recently, the statue that I wanted to get was Kali. My teacher's like, no, get Durga. And I was like, okay.
Well, they're saying my ashram,
Related.
worshiped Durga, but many people manifested Kali because they're real similar forms
Yeah.
of the goddess.
Yeah.
Who is your teacher, CJ?
It's still, I would say that Nathaji, Swami Khecaranatha is still my primary guru. I have many teachers. I think that for me, I'm such a mind-oriented person that I need to learn and learn lots of different ways of seeing the same thing, whether it's Tumo, which I think feels very similar. I just started learning just this much
Sumo
knowledge.
breathing? You mean like the wet,
Yeah,
the
like the
wet
Tumo
towel
practice.
breathing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tumo the practice. And so I've just started like learning about that. And that's very centered less in the heart. Like with the one practice that I do with Nathaji, it's in the heart. This one is more focused on the dantian and bringing fire, and like it's very 5-element focus. And so there's just so many different ways at the same experience, I think. But the Kundalini, I think, is I think of Nathaji as being my primary teacher because that's his area of focus, and that's what opened up to me first.
Mm. Was he your teacher before the Kundalini Awakening or after?
I would say Joe Dispenza was my teacher, and then I mean, not like there's not a teacher-student relationship with the Joe Dispenza kind of scenario. You're like listening to the tapes, going to a lecture. And then after the Kundalini Awakening, I don't think I could arrive at my current state without his kind of helping me pull the energy away from the kriya expression and towards the central channel. And so he's helped me kind of like center everything so that I'm not kind of like, flailing and well, now I still do this. Now I'm doing these weird, I have these weird sounds that emanate from my mouth. So there's always something. Do you guys still have those manifestations?
I do. Well, yes, the Shakti language speaks through me. So that's part of the work that I do, is just allowing her to speak.
Oh.
Is that what you're getting, more of a language?
Right now, what I'm getting is I'm doing a lot of throat and heart clearing, and I feel like the intensity of this awakening experience that we have with COVID is kind of causing pressure. I'm sure you guys are nodding your head, so you're feeling the same thing, but it's kind of causing this pressure, and it's like forcing me to heal stuff more. I don't know if it's more rapidly, but I'm also leaning in, so I'm not sure if it's more rapidly or what would happen naturally, but a lot of guarding, heart guarding, and like just a lot of grunting.
I still grunt. I do. I still grunt.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Can you show me what it sounds like for you?
Probably not. It usually happens in my morning meditation.
It does?
Because I've been doing a lot of releasing past life, early childhood stuff that I was like, where did this come from? After however many years I've been doing this. So
I think that's exactly what's happening for me. It's ancestral wounding. It's very early, probably pre-verbal kind of, you don't even know what's happening, but it's like still wounds that are within you. And stuff that's probably like, I've just been doing recently, tapping with the tapping solution and doing
EFT.
EFT and just clearing out stuff, because there's just because I'm so absorbent, I'm very open. I'm just picking up all sorts of like garbage for myself, for my clients, and so I have to do something to kind of clear out the energy. So
I was just wondering, are your clients experiencing that also kind of awakening?
A lot of my clients are corporate clients, but what I would say is I'm not sure. Here's my theory. I don't know if either of you does do client work, but here's my theory, and it could be totally presumptuous, and it probably is. But I think that the more you are in awareness and tuned in, your clients can pick up the energy and they're able to go deeper into whatever is happening for them. Because some of the stuff that my clients say, like I'll do some type of clearing work where they're clearing some type of limiting beliefs or something. And the learnings that they come up with are not like normal learnings, that they're like deep spiritual learnings that people take lifetimes to learn. So something is happening for my clients from that perspective. What are you guys hearing from other people? What's happening for other people?
Well, I'm hearing like people are shifting worldwide. They're going through download experiences, even ET connections. I mean, I'm here in Sedona, so there's all that stuff going on, and my dreams have gotten just so vivid. And every night there's like another lesson in my dreams. And it's only started just like the past couple of weeks, I think. But they're life lessons. They're like almost like what do they call those? A life review in the dream to like get rid of old karmic patterns. That's what I found the last few weeks.
Do you remember your dreams, Alan, after you wake up?
Yeah, I do wake up and remember just the tail end of it, and I write them down. I've been keeping a dream diary for like 2 years, and it's like, and I usually make the connection between the dream and and it's like, oh yeah, I did that the other day, and that's really how I felt about it. And so I keep my dream journal to kind of understand myself. And dreams are a whole other topic, but I find they are like doorways to my unconscious. I mean, and they show me my deeper feelings. I may have one superficial feeling about a situation. It's like the dream shows me what's really going on for me, how I feel, and sometimes it's not always obvious, but there's like I dreamed of this Hasidic Jewish person who I didn't know, but it sort of reflected a feeling I had in a good way about this other person who I've been studying. So there's a lot of symbolism and overlays of my reality in my dreams. And yeah, I've been becoming more conscious and more clear. And I don't know what that has to do with Kundalini, but something.
It's awakening.
It is a form of awakening, but it doesn't have the energy that my experiences of Kundalini have had. Even being around people with Kundalini, I can feel that movement through my spine, that awakened Shakti. It's Shakti.
Yeah.
So the dreams are maybe another version of awakening, like you say. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's cool.
What have you experienced with dreams?
I don't know. I think that it's kind of healing. I have the same kind of thing, but Ellen, I'm not as good of a student as you are, because I wake up going, and I swear it's like, I have these dreams like, you need to remember,
Yes.
love is the path, or something like, it's just like, and I'm kind of like, okay. And then I wake up and I was like, what was that? Path? Yeah, I don't remember.
You can't move. You can't do anything. You have to grab my phone or pad and write it down right there while you're still in that state. You just don't get out of bed. Don't think about
I'm
what you have
totally
to
missing
do.
the messages. I'm kind of a bad student.
You're getting it anyway, but I mean, if you want to remember, just write. Don't do anything and just
write it down.
I've gotten phone numbers that I wake up and go, I should write that down.
You have phone numbers in your dreams?
I've gotten phone numbers, yes.
And do you call them?
Well, I don't write them down, so then I don't remember.
Okay, I'm really curious. Only if you call someone, if they're like, hello, like, to see who answers.
Sometimes numbers are symbolic for me in my dream. like I got this number in a dream. I know we're getting off the topic. And it was dreaming about this business partner and it said 4114. And I said, that's weird. Maybe that's a phone number or something. And then I talked to this dream analyst, really great woman, Lainey Dolphin in Montreal. I said, what do you think this is? Is this an address 4114? And she said, oh, you were dreaming about your business partner. What came to her is like 4 for 1 and 1 for all. In terms of like how that business is something I'd like to see. You know, that's just what came to her. And then it's like when she said it, it's like, yes, that made sense. That made sense. So there's a lot of symbolism in dreams and everything. But I think what this has to do with Kundalini, like you said, it's like we're all waking up to these other realities. And it's the COVID birth canal that we're on.
Oh, that's great, Alan, because I was thinking yesterday with the COVID, because I've gone through such intense stuff during this COVID time. And I was feeling like I'm just kind of buried under this thing right now. And that's it, like the birth canal.
Yeah, well, it is like that.
He's like, please let me out of here.
I know.
Where is it?
There is an
outside.
Well, so Corona does mean crown. You know, it means crown. So there you go.
Yes, that's true. This is true.
So,
but tell us a little bit more, CJ, about having this teacher to kind of centralize the Kundalini. Like, what does that do? And if you didn't have them, would you just be like all over the place?
I can tell you yes.
The evolution of it, the evolution of what.
Yeah, I'll tell you the progression of how it went. So on so I interviewed Nathaji, Swami Khecaranatha, and he had said, you know what, you should come as my guest. You know, it's like, please, as my guest, please do something. He didn't say it that way, but I was like, okay, I'll go for my husband, you know, but I went to this.
How did you meet him?
I did an interview with him because I woke up one morning and I thought I need to find out about Seva. I interviewed one guest and he talked about Seva, but it didn't really resonate. That guest didn't resonate with me. And I thought I need to find out about Seva. And Nathaji had written a book called the Seva Sutras. So I emailed him and said, can I interview you on this book? And so that started my relationship with him. And he said, why don't you come down to Berkeley and be my guest for the next retreat that's coming in July? So I went to the July retreat and it was like his energy is very powerful. And it was just like, it was like a freight train just going through my body. It was like just energy flying all over the place. And then at one point he comes over and he has a Shakti put, which some teachers do, where they touch you on like whatever needs to open. So I think he touched me in a certain place and I just passed out on the floor and was like convulsing. It's like, and I hadn't, because I hadn't done a lot of research. I then later on looked on stuff on the web. I'm like, oh, this is like a thing. Like, this is what people do. So it felt less weird. And then his teacher is Rujananda. So I saw a film and they were showing all these people doing similar things. I'm like, oh, that's what's happening to me.
What's his teacher's name? What's his teacher's name, you said?
Rujananda and then Nityananda.
Rudy.
Oh, Rudy.
And Nityananda, who I think they have a picture of. So yeah, and then Nityananda is the root teacher.
Oh, Rudy was American. He was an American guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
he had a boutique shop in New York, actually.
Did you meet him?
No, I never met him, but I know people who did meet him. And there's a sanctuary in upstate New York who has a life-size statue of Rudy and Nityananda in that same hall.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't know he had a lot of Shakti. I mean, I guess so.
Rudy? Yeah. Oh yeah. He would like get people would probably make someone walk in the room and get them to pass out. Yeah. Like he had a lot of he's a Shakti master. And so that Nathaji also, his real name is Steve Ott. And the people, one of his classmates said they used to go like, he's hot because he just runs super hot. So that was the first. And so
Oh, he's American, your teacher. He's not Hindu.
he's in Berkeley,
Oh,
California.
oh, I
So
see.
so that was the first. And then the second time, I was like having all these breathing manifestations. And then I was actually afraid to go into the ashram because I was so disruptive with my noise and shaking. I was like, I can't control my breathing, and I don't want to interrupt other people while they're having their experience because I'm so loud. And I told him beforehand. And in that retreat, I was so worried, but he's like, no, come in. And I was like, okay. And then when I went in, I don't know how to explain it, but there was someone breathing me. And I think he was helping me kind of calm my system down and to show me how to breathe and to calm down and drop down. And all the shaking stopped, and I just reached this place of stillness. And so that was the first time where I moved from like shaking incredibly just down to like stillness, which is the ideal that you're trying. It's not about these shaktis. It's not about moving in kriyas. I mean, if you have them, but it's about just kind of feeling this inner stillness and this kind of quietude. And then over time, I was able to develop some type of more quietness and less shaking around. I would have thing where my arm would just, when someone spoke the truth, my arm would just fly up, or my head would go like this. It's like, and then people started, and because I was like, oh, it's just energy. Like I wouldn't make a big deal out of it because my friends, they're not into this stuff at all. They would be like, what is that? And I was like, it's just energy. It's like, I know it.
So that happens in regular daily life.
Yeah, if I would talk to someone and they would say something and it was true, my head would just whip around. And they said, and then people, my friends started like wanting to know. It's like, why isn't your head whipping around? Is that true for me? Like it was like a muscle testing kind of thing where it was an indicator of truth. But then that left, my arm thing left.
Well, do you find yourself, I mean, because that's part of your, let's call it super conscious mind that's reacting to the truth, or it's a part of you, let's say.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Do you find yourself merging more with that part that knows? Yeah, talk about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I would say that. So then with Nathaji, I've been kind of moving to the point that things are so, I just want to finish to just talk about the graceful thing that he's done, where the last couple times I actually feel they talk about the drops of essence where it just kind of comes down, and it feels like you're anesthetized. It's like, I thought, is this what crack feels like? So, because if so, I now know why everyone does it. So I it was like, it just felt so relaxing and calm. And that happened for like, a couple of nanoseconds. So I think that shows the potentiality of where you can go if you stay still. And I'm not sure why, but lately I've just been picking up everything. I'm like a magnet. So if someone's mad, I feel it. And I feel like sometimes I can feel like there's like no bound, like if you become mostly non-dual, you feel everything, right? You start, and I don't know if I'm there. I'm not audacious enough to say I'm there, but there are moments where I'm there, and I'm also very open and empathetic that I think I'm just like a sponge. And so, yeah, I've been feeling that a lot. Have you guys been feeling that too?
Yes, but I think, I just get that. I'm happy to hear what you have to say because you're part of the merging. But what were you saying, Kai? Sorry.
It's interesting because I'm at the point now where when I feel that in another person, and now I say, okay, so there's something within me that's resonating with that I need to release, like ex-husband, perfect example. Or can I just be okay with that he's in that state, he's angry, and I can just be at peace, even though I'm feeling it and I'm feeling him, because you can feel everything and everyone when you're in that state. But is there something within me that's resonating, that's making it bothersome for me? So that's where I'm at now, of saying, can I just be at peace and allow him to be in that state? So
and can you? Is it working?
I'm getting better and better at it. I'm getting better and better. Yes. I'm not saying I'm not 100% there, but I'm definitely, wow, a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, I have two new teachers. One is John Churchill, who does the Essence practice with Dan Brown. I don't know if he's just more of a Buddhist lineage. And it's about being in awareness. And John Burney, who is a teacher and a dear friend. And I interviewed John Burney, and then we were on the interview, and I was like, his energy was so strong, and he described it as that certain people, if they're part of the lineage and they are vibrating at the same energy, it's just kind of like when they get together, it's like, like he was like, the two of us together, I was laughing. I couldn't even conduct the interview. I was like, I don't even know where, like I had a set of questions. I was like, I don't even know where I am. And we were just laughing. I don't know what kind of interview it must have been, but there was laughing about like a third of the interview. But what he's told me about this is like, he said, you know, when you become non-dual, this is what I've taken from this whole experience, and which I am trying to live by, is that, and are you guys feeling super hot? I'm super hot, this energy.
Oh, the energy is very strong right now.
Yeah, I'm like so hot, I'm like sweating. I'm like, what? It's so hot right now. Can you feel it?
It's like strong, yeah. Not just you.
Hey. But he said, if you're feeling it, it's now yours. Like there is no division between people. So if you're feeling it, it's yours. Because like you said, Kai, there's a part in you that is resonating with what is being said. Like it sticks to you because it's still, you know, that anger is yours too, you know, so now it's yours to heal. So right. if you kind of put on the mantle of a bodhisattva, then it's like, well, like it's now mine to heal. So I just kind of try to, what both teachers say is to try to go into awareness and not focus, not try to make meaning out of, not try to understand it, not try to problem solve it, which is all my specialties. Oh, yeah. So this is very hard to do. So like, am I supposed to do, you mean you're not supposed to be me? Yes, you're not supposed to be you. Don't think about it. Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to problem solve it.
Well, it goes along with Joe Dispenza's thing, breaking the habit of being yourself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was his,
don't do anything. Just like, let it be and open up to, like, this is just like a little minuscule dot in a tapestry that is, you know, infinite, and you're just focusing on this little anger of your ex-husband or me, whatever, you know, whatever it is, both of us are focusing on this little point. But if you kind of focus on the big picture and you notice and recognize, like, oh, I'm getting triggered by anger, and you kind of like just open your energy, then if I'm aware and conscious enough, and if I can do that, I do that like 1 out of every 10 times. So it's not like it's not like I'm like, I'm there, I'm doing it all the time. I mean, I do it sometimes, and most of the time I don't do it.
Yeah.
Lost Alan.
He'll be back.
Okay.
He fades in and out.
Okay. He's like a magician. So yeah, so I've been kind of focusing on that, and that's helped me a lot. And just like, it is yours and it's not yours. It's everybody's and it's nobody's. Just don't pick up and try to make a story out of it. Just wash it away.
That's
me a lot.
It. That's it. And so, and also for me, it's also allowing the person to have that experience, because I used to think I had to change it.
Yeah.
Angry. We have to become not angry. And it's like, no, if he's angry, that's fine. He can be angry, but I don't have to be angry too. That's where I'm at now.
Yeah, that's good. I am not exactly there, but sometimes if in a fleeting moment I can get there.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, I just had to disappear for a second because I wasn't getting hot. My computer was getting hot.
Really?
There you go.
Yes, but so where are you in your Kundalini? Are you still feeling that Shakti moving through you, and are you transmitting it to others? And
oh wow.
I bet you unknowingly do with your clients, which is why they're finding those deep states, maybe.
I think I maybe unknowingly do, and part of what I'll tell you where I am right now with my clients. I've been working with John Churchill, and the Buddhists believe that there are these 5 wisdoms of the Buddha. And so there's equanimity, spaciousness, fire, perception, water-like wisdom, and all-encompassing wisdom. And I tried it when I'm talking, because if you're coaching well, I'll show you and see if you can feel the difference. But if normally I talk through clarity, so it's just kind of like like when I'm talking to clients. But I've noticed that if I talk through a sense of spaciousness, it just lands in a different place. And then let me see if I can do it. And if I talk truly through my heart, it ends up being a different place. So I'm trying to be conscious of where I'm speaking from, if it's my heart, or if it's my spaciousness or an equanimity, and trying to tune into those energies, because I'm realizing that it's the content, but it's also the energy. And so if you unknowingly have it, then you're kind of unknowingly torching people with stuff that, they may not want. So if you know that you have a sense of power, trying to wield it responsibly is part of what I've been trying to do. And it's not as if I remember all the time, but sometimes I remember. And when I do, I think things land better when I do, especially with clients. So that's what I'm doing with whatever is emerging within me, which I think is some type of energetic expression. Like at night, so to answer your question, Alan, like at night, I still have like this, I literally wake up and I feel energy coursing through, like I woke up and I felt energy coursing through my left ankle. And it's like so strong that it wakes me up. Or sometimes my husband's like, it's really hard to be married to you, because I'm just like shaking in bed, like I'm just shaking at night. So it's still happening.
Yeah. Isn't it blissful for you? I mean, like Dorothy Walters, you should listen to our interview. She just went into bliss. I mean,
Really?
Yes.
I think I needed to hear that, because I don't think I realized that is where it could go. I think I'm just thinking like, this sucks. I'm not sleeping, and I'm a little bit pissed off because I'm not sleeping and I'm shaking. And I don't know what this is. It's like kind of to me an annoyance, versus I think if I had seen it as, it's kind of like leaning into the joy and ecstasy of it, I think would be, I will listen to your interview to hear how she has moved in that direction.
Dorothy, read her book. What's her book, Kai?
Well, I didn't read the first one, which was her story called Unmasking the Rose, which would probably be the one to read. I read the second one, or the most recent prose book, which was Kundalini. Oh boy, I can't remember it right now.
She's still in bliss. She's 92 years old. This happened to her like 50 years ago. And I think she probably lives in that state. And this Kundalini's been going through her in different ways, but I really got the sense of bliss talking to her. You would love her, I think, especially coming from your
I'll interview her and see. So she's like someone I could interview, because she has a book.
Definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
And she writes poetry. She writes poetry based on these Kundalini awakenings.
Wow.
And all levels of. Yes, I think you should definitely interview her, because she's a beautiful being.
Yeah.
And very.
I think that, Alan, though, I think that, everybody's experience is so individual, and it sounds like she came in with that kind of already experience for that bliss. Do you know what I mean? I think our ultimate goal is to reach that state of bliss, but my personal journey has been, it's been back and forth. It's been a lot of bliss, but also a lot of just releasing. My whole life has been releasing. So I think we have different goals with our journey, with the awakening journey.
Well, There's this guy named Richard Rudd from England. I don't know if you've ever heard him. He has this body of work called the Gene Keys, and it's
Oh,
based.
yes, I have. Yes, yes.
Yeah, and he
What is
has these 4 gene keys that are related to you in terms of your purpose and your mission and who you're being and what you're doing. And I just finished this class, and for me, what I'm supposed to do in life is to be moved from desire to lightness to ecstasy. So it's that ecstatic rapture. And I think what resonates with me, Ellen, about what you said about the author of Unmasking the Rose is that
Dorothy Wall? Yeah.
Dorothy, I think that this is where it could be going. Like if I'm trying to just like soften and release into all of this so it doesn't have to have this kind of, it's the same thing like the Joe Dispenza where it's kind of like, like if you do that, it's just strong. But if you can kind of like soften and delight in it, I don't know, you're bringing in a new idea for me to experiment. And I went through this breathing class, and it's not holotropic breathing, but sort of like that right before COVID. And because I always have problems with my breathing, like I have this mild of anxiety from like all this transformation because I go through so much and my body gets all amped up. And so I was going through this breathing class, and I was kind of like just like letting go of just releasing. And she came to me and she's like, you know what, you could feel joy. It's okay to feel joy and express it. And I thought, oh yeah, I could. And when I did that, I was like laughing and just like feeling completely blissed out. So I think there is this like flip side of it. And if you can get to from the other side of the pain to the bliss, it's right around the corner. But I think I needed to hear that, Alan, to know that like it is around the corner, but somehow you have to believe that it's around the corner, because otherwise it's like, here's me and all my kriyas living a miserable, experience right now. It's like,
you already have it out of like the way. It's already joyfully running through you. Just the mind says, no, we can't do that. We can't have that. We're not allowed. And that's breaking the habit of being ourselves. That's
absolutely. Absolutely.
But we also have to honor the expression of the Shakti, because, if there's work she needs to do, can we find bliss in the experience of the work? And I understand, like, we don't want to get stuck in the kriyas and not be able to move on from that stage, but we also have to tune in and check in and make sure that we're in this experience with the Shakti, because it is our higher self. And do we need to, go through these experiences that maybe another person does not need to go through?
Right. But the kriyas are the bliss, or can be. I mean, it depends out there hitting blocks in your body and stuff that, emotional miasms that we've put in place in different locations in our body. When the Kundalini hits that, it could be painful or upsetting or emotionally releasing. Yeah. It's the process, though, of merging, I think, with the Shakti to become that universal energy force through the incarnational experience, right? We're incarnated to bring in the universal energies into this embodiment, I think. I think that's also called ascension, whatever you want to call those ideas that people have.
Yeah.
So, I think you're really more further along than you think, CJ.
I don't really know where I am. I try not to, all I've been instructed to do is not to think about it too much, because the more you think about it, and I think that was my initial impulse when reading Susan Greenwald's book, I think that's her name. It's like, I don't want anyone else's experience or expectations to shape what is my own path. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing, and I don't want to be thinking about it too much, despite all of my identity that likes to think and plan and strategize and everything. I literally have had to really surrender that, and I'm still surrendering that. Like, still to this day, it's so hard not to try to want to figure it out. But I think the closer I can get to not figuring out and just receiving this energy in kind of a joyful, ecstatic way, I think that the better it will be. Like when I met with Nathaji, I usually say, okay, what should I work on? And he said, the thing you need to work on is self-rejection. And I do think if, like, I've been contemplating that the thing I love about Nathaji is he's super crystal clear. It's not this long dialogue. It's like self-rejection, boom, done. I'm like, okay, done. I'm like, bye, thanks, man, leave. But it really does summarize, like, well, rejecting the self, and if you're thinking, for me, my predisposition is to think of everything as like, I'm healing myself because somehow I'm broken, right? Or or something bad has happened to me. It has a more negative lens. And as my childhood experience as like someone who is raised by immigrants that fled from China, like I have this kind of fear-based orientation. So like trying to let go of that and this kind of tiger mom kind of scenario that I was raised in, where like nothing was ever good enough. It's like there's a lot of like inner critic, inner parent, just criticizing the crap out of myself. And so if I wasn't bad, problematic, or had something to heal, then maybe I'm actually perfect and can receive grace. Like like that may be a different way.
Why don't you try that one on? Why don't you just?
I don't even think I thought to try it on, Alan, until like you mentioned it. It's almost like I forgot the class that I had with the breathing person who like opened up that idea. And I think literally just today, what I'm working on is the idea of receiving. And like, in order to receive God's grace, you have to believe that you're good enough to receive God's grace. But if you're self-rejecting, then like you're getting this beautiful love light and you're kind of like, oh, I'll just take a third because maybe other people need the other 2/3, like that's kind of how I've been raised.
But you do recognize that these kriyas you're getting are intense grace, right?
Yes, I do. I don't think I recognize. They seem like, to me, the way that I coded them in my head before is as energetic blockages that need to be removed.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what I was told about them. But now I'm beginning to see with the Gene Keys work, it's like, how about if these were just beautiful expressions of God gracing you due to your devotion to something higher? Like, oh, and I kind of understood that, but I kind of have to be reminded over and over again. For me, that's what it's been.
And there's another aspect.
Yeah.
There's another aspect.
Yes. Go ahead, Ty. No, I was. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead. What were you
I was
saying?
just going to talk about, and I sense this, and CJ, there's another aspect where there are kriyas which are releasing, right? And they can go right along with the, Davy Bhav or Bhav. Davy Bhav or Bhav.
Oh, so, I don't know what that is.
Okay, so when the energy comes through as the goddess or as the god energy in a way to bless the people around you or to express. And that can be very intense. If you see it happening, it can be very intense. Like if, for instance, Kali comes through, she can be very intense and she will go into kriyas and she may stick her tongue out and she may go into all different kinds of movement. So it's not, I have a feeling that you're getting some of that. I can just feel it in you that you're getting some of that kind of manifestation energy, which in my terminology, I also use the word channeling for that because I have a whole video on why that's a similar thing, but also people can relate to the word channeling more easily than Davy Bhav in the Western world. But it
Mm.
sounds to me like you should be really grateful that this divine mother energy is expressing through you, and she's chosen you to awaken within, and God's grace is like chosen you to be awake within.
Yes, I think that's a really
Mm.
good way of viewing it. And I think that I just needed a reminder. So this is very, very wonderful. I'm so thankful for both of you to just remind me. Because I kind of, when I was going through the gene keys, I'm like, wait a second, here's a different way of looking at everything that's happened to me in a positive way and
Yeah.
stance versus negative.
The divine is pouring through you. That's the grace of the Shakti. For some reason, you got it. And
Yeah,
it's a
Yeah.
gift.
And
yeah.
think about how you got it. So I don't know if you've heard Joe's awakening experience, his Kundalini. I was at a retreat where he talked about it. And for him, he was at a silent retreat. Probably one of the ones, Alan, that you, when you were with
At the
him.
Ramtha School.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I knew Joe for 30 years at the Ramtha School, and it was a powerful school. I mean, it's right out there in Washington State, and people would go through very deep internal experiences. So what, I don't know his experience. What happened to Joe?
I hope it's okay to share this publicly. He shared it at a retreat. So he was sitting in silent meditation, and I guess they, they all had their eye masks on, and he
Oh,
just
yeah, we'd be.
had a powerful awakening experience where he said this yell came out of him that he didn't even know where it came from, and I think he felt the energy shoot up his spine or something. But he said in that moment he had to choose whether he was going to let that happen or if he was going to hold it back. And he chose to just let it be and basically cleared the entire space. Everybody left.
I wonder if I was there, but anyway,
They
yeah.
left because they were like, oh my God, or they left. Did they clear his energy? Like, was his opening clear everyone else?
No, he didn't say, but it sounded like just because he was loud and they were silent kind of thing. It sounded like that. I can't say for sure.
But I think I may have been there. I didn't realize that was his Kundalini awakening, but yeah, that's
I
how
don't
it
anybody
comes.
quote me, but that's my memory of
I
it.
know,
Ah,
I know, but obviously, in order to activate so many people worldwide, like he's doing, he has this Shakti that is, well, I think that's your awakening there, CJ, being in the company of people who are awakening, and it's catchy. It
Sounds like
really
you got a
is.
bit of Shakti thought from him, that.
I did. He's the original. Yeah, I think you're right, Kai. And I don't think he was. I think at that point it was very somewhat early on. I don't think it was like there were not people having awakening experiences. I think that was happening over time, or maybe I was in the very onset of that because no one else. I don't think I had ever seen that before. But it sounds like maybe that is what he's doing. I don't know if he's purposely or intentionally doing that, but he
Just in
has the
effect,
energy for sure.
you could do that. I mean, if you wanted to, I don't know, but I bet you could do that for people with the energy coming through you, like boom, and like suddenly they're having a blissful experience.
I would be interested to see if you decided to fully surrender to the Shakti and to the mother and give her permission to come through, what might evolve.
Yeah, you guys are like little angels that have flown into my life out of like this mysterious way. I'll tell you things that completely relate to the things that you have mentioned. So I was previously empty nesting until my little birds came flying back and are now living back with us because they're not going back to college because of COVID. But I was trying to get a sense of like, okay, what is my next step? And I've been doing this shamanic journeying, and I'm getting a couple things: healing. I'm getting visions of exactly what you said, Alan. Someone actually gave me a vision like 10 to 15 years ago about me sitting, and I'm just looking at people and transmitting love through my heart. And I don't do that now. I don't have those capabilities now, but you know, maybe as you said, Kai, maybe if I opened up to the mother, who knows what would happen, but I don't have that capability now, or maybe it's growing in me. I don't know what to say about where it is or where it's going, but I feel like I do have these visions of doing something like that, but I don't know exactly how to get there, or it seems very, it wouldn't have been the path that I would have picked. Like, I don't know what path I would have picked, but it's not the one that I would have imagined, although someone imagined it for me. And it resonates with me because I feel like I'm here to help other people from their suffering. So yeah, that. And then when I've been doing these shamanic journeys, it's about transmission, you know, transmitting spirit and helping people, I think, reach a place of peace and harmony. There's just so much unrest. We are not at peace with ourselves. We're not with peace with each other. We're not with peace with the environment. It's just, wow, just even saying so, it just makes my heart ache, you know? So I feel like there's something about, I'm literally going up and I have never asked, like, who's my teacher? But in shamanic journeys, you go up to the upper world and you ask who your teacher is. And I've never asked. And so I asked him, like, who is my teacher? And I found out it was Shakti. It was Shakti, you know, that kind of, and I was kind of surprised, but it kind of makes sense that that would be my teacher. So I think, to your point, Kai, like, if I were to just embrace it and just let it rip versus, you know, like I did in the Joe Dispenza event, versus kind of like, oh, that seems weird. I don't know how to do that. I'm not sure what I'm doing. You know, that's kind of, I have that kind of professionalism, I guess. I don't know, or paranoiaism or lack of surrender. I don't know how you want to position, but I have that kind of, before I do something like that, I want to make sure that it's pure, and it's clean, and it's transmission of the highest order, because I don't want to be adding more. If your words have power, to be super conscious of the power and the energy that you're offering, because otherwise you could be harming people. So I want to make sure that whatever I do comes, you know, right from here and from, you know, my divine connection. And I don't know if I'm there yet, but maybe.
Well,
so it's interesting that you mention it.
I wouldn't second guess. If you know that's your pure intention, then don't doubt, is this my pure intention? It's like, boom, people are, I would think, needing what you have to offer. So it's like, well, should I give that to them or should I not? It's like, you know, they're waiting for it. You know, that's my take on it.
Yeah, but I just want to know what I'm offering. And if I'm not clean, I don't want to be channeling anything, you know?
No,
There's
I
enough
understand
dirty
it.
water
It's
out there
been
to be,
sorry. It's been my same path. And so my prayer has just always been, God, Shakti, whatever, come through me completely, purely, you know, take my ego completely out of it. And that's always been my highest prayer. And it sounds like that's your highest prayer as well.
yeah.
And then I just would start asking for clarification of that. And I don't know how it would come for you if you need that kind of backing or whatever, but saints would start coming to me and saying, yes, you know, this, especially Nityananda and Baba Muktananda, come to me all the time and clarify that for me. And then they'll even send devotees of theirs to me to clarify it for me as well and say, Baba sent me to you. I get that all the time. Baba sent me to you.
Wow.
So I think once you start clarifying it within yourself, knowing that that's your intention and asking God or Shakti or the mother to give you acknowledgement of that, watch what happens.
So ask them to acknowledge, like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And get in, and like, give me acknowledgement, bring me opportunities, whatever. If you want me to do this, please help me define and refine and figure out what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And show me that I am a clear channel, because it sounds like you need that reassurance as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing that I've been getting when I've been going up to these divine realms is that I have to, in order to receive the information, I have to be vibrating at a higher level than I'm at. So, and doing more heart clearing and opening, so that something I read which resonates with me is that it's all about love. Like if you come from a place of love, then what you channel is going to be pure and clean. If you come from a place of ego, then I'm not sure what happens, but it's probably information that could be useful, but it's not comes from a higher order. So I'm working and purifying, cleaning, and opening my heart so it's kind of as pure as it can get. But I think you're right. It's like I could be working on this for a long time. So maybe asking for validation when I'm there, like please give me validation that I'm a clean channel. That would be a good idea.
It has helped
What
me,
did not?
obviously.
What did Nathaji say to you again? What was the word? That crystal clear
Self-rejection.
boom. Right. I think it does come down to that. If you don't reject yourself, I mean, I don't know you, but if you just had that acceptance, then boom, it's coming through you. That's what I get.
Yeah. Well, I have channeled things for friends. I can channel. I've never done transmission. It's a slightly different thing, I think. Like transmission, like for me, like channeling, I can tune into clients and somehow I'm able to like, I don't know, like tune into their soul's voice. And, they're giving me permission to do that by, being a client. They're like, please help me. So I'm like tuning into like the voice that they cannot hear. And so I tune into that. But I don't know if it's the same or different than channel. I think transmission is like literally being an empty rod and like saying what it is that needs to be said. It's a little bit slightly different, but I don't know. Maybe that's a mental construct that I'm putting in it. I don't know. I feel like this is a counseling session. How much do I owe you guys?
No, I think you're doing great. And like,
I just see so much beauty in you that I would love to see it expressed.
Thank you. That's sweet. I do too. I don't know if I see beauty in me, but I would love to express what feels like it wants to be revealed.
And your heart feels very pure. Almost like that Kuan Yin quality.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. That's sweet. Yeah, I can't feel my heart, so I don't know what my heart is. Do you know what I mean? People say to me, oh, your heart is open or pure. I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know. I believe that's what you feel. And I trust your instincts. So I believe that must be true.
Don't you feel that, Alan, with her?
Yeah, I feel you're really open and vulnerable and aware. And I think you're much more evolved than you think you are. I mean, it's just that little thing, I don't know, somewhere got planted in your mind of self-doubt. And it's like, just put that on the shelf and trust who you are. I mean, you're there. You're already there. That's what I get.
Guys. Both of you are just such a wonderful blessing. Thank you. I really am. Yeah, it's like I have tears in my eyes. I'm very grateful for both of you. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank
nice.
you. Thanks for being here today.
Yes, I feel very connected.
I think yes.
Sorry, Alan.
It'd be great to interview Nathaji. Can you connect us to him?
Sure,
Nathaji?
yeah. Yeah. I thought I saw an interview with you and him already, didn't I?
I've thought about it. I just haven't invited him yet. So you probably saw it in a dream.
A
few
no, I'd like to. He sounds really right on, really right in touch with this.
He's a
awakening.
beautiful soul. He's just, there's probably very few people that I would trust to work with my energy, because when someone's working with your energy, it's a very, very personal thing. And he is so earnest and forthright and humble and beautiful, just a beautiful being. So I think you would love interviewing him. He's great. And I'm happy to.
And those other teachers, And the other people you mentioned too sounded really
Sure,
great
I would
too.
love to connect you with them. So I will send an email connecting you to all three of them. Yeah, they're all really lovely people.
Great,
Yeah.
Right?
great. And
Yes.
I think you should be back on the show in a couple of months just to see how you're doing, you know, here.
Oh, I would
with
love
this.
to. It would be my honor. I just tell me how much I should pay you for this session and the last one. The next one. Yeah, I'd love to be on in the next couple months. That'd be great.
See how
Tell
you're
people about your show, your interviews. Just tell people how to reach you and your show
Yeah,
and
so
everything.
it's firedupwithcj.com, and if you go to Fired Up with CJ, I'm on iTunes. What's the Apple one? iTunes, iHeart. I think Spotify. I can't even remember. On YouTube, and you can find my radio show there. I've just started changing my format to be 8-minute interviews versus 50 minutes. So that's been interesting. Yeah, so they're shorter. So they're
80
really
minutes. 80 minutes or 8 minutes.
8 to 10 minutes. So you
well,
can
you could
listen to my
both
show
of
when
us.
and listen to my show when you're folding laundry. It's the perfect thing to do. And so I interview probably a lot of the same people you interview, Alan and Kai. I don't know who you've interviewed so far.
No, I don't do a lot of interviews. I've always done, well, my work, which is, I do Shakti and the mother comes through and all of that. But I'm also just very inspired to get to know other people who are doing work and share. And so that's what inspired this. So now I'm really new to the whole interviewing thing. I have a few interviews on my YouTube channel, but has not been my main focus.
Yeah.
But I've interviewed a lot of people and
Alan
it's fun.
has, yes.
So, but let's stay in touch. Let's do that.
Do that. Yeah.
And
Thank you
yeah,
so much,
I mean,
CJ. I'm really honored to have you here. And
it's so wonderful. I feel like you've been my two little angels just floating from nowhere. Like, I don't even know how you found me. It's kind of miraculous. And I didn't know what to expect, but it's just been such a delight to meet the two of you. Thank you.
You too. Let's stay
great
in touch.
you're doing great work, I think, and you're being activated for this higher mission when you get all that other stuff. So
I hope so. I want to be. So, and I would like to be.
you are.
So
yeah, I already see it. You're already there. So Alan sees it. You're already there. So
okay. So just get on and do the work. Stop kvetching so much, right?
Kvetching, yes. Kvetching is a good term.
You're doing the work. Thank you. Love to both of you. Thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
For being here.
Hold on. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.